Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to learn the Inject and Debug nodes. Two nodes that every flow you build will use, one to start it and one to see what is happening inside it. Here is a flow with two nodes in it. Open Browser starts a Chrome session, and Go to Google points that session at a page. The Flow Designer is divided into three areas around the canvas. On the left, the Node palette, every node your workspace can run, grouped by package. On the right, the properties of whichever node you have selected. One click on a node opens everything that node exposes. And along the bottom, the Dev console, where flow events and debug output arrive. There are three ways to put a node on the canvas. The first is to drag it out of the palette and drop it where you want it. The second is to right-click the canvas and type the name of the node you want. The third is to pull a wire off an output port and drop it on an empty part of the canvas. The same picker appears, and this time the node arrives already connected to the port you dragged from. When you left-click a node, its properties appear in the right pane. The defaults are usually enough. Most nodes need one or two fields filled in, and no more. Go to Google needs exactly one, the address to navigate to. So let us run it. Local runs on a robot attached to a machine you control. Cloud runs on Robomotion's own farm. The flow has started, but nothing has happened, no node has run, and no browser has opened. Something is missing. A flow does not begin on its own, it needs a trigger node to set it going. There are several trigger nodes, but the Inject node is the one that starts most flows. Right-click the canvas and add it. Connect its output to the Open Browser node and rename it Start. That is the convention, and it keeps a flow readable. With the trigger wired in, the flow finally has a beginning. Running it now activates the Inject node, and the Inject node sets everything after it going. Run it again. The nodes light up in order, and a browser window opens. That highlight is the robot reporting each step back to the designer while it happens. Open Browser started that Chrome session, and Go to Google pointed it at a page. Nothing there is a preview. It is a real browser, on the machine the robot runs on, doing what the flow told it to do. Robomotion is not limited to a single sequence of steps. You can put as many independent sequences on one canvas as you need, and they run in parallel without interfering. Add a second Inject node, and everything connected after it is triggered too. The other node we reach for constantly is the Debug node, which shows the message being passed between the nodes. A message is storage that belongs to the branch that is running. It is not global, it travels along the wire. So pull a wire off the Start node, and drop a Debug node on it. It is like probing a wire to see what is being carried along it. There it is, on the wire between Start and Open Browser. Run the flow, and open the Debug tab of the Dev console. There it is, the message object, exactly as it left the Inject node. It is plain JSON. Every node receives it, uses what it needs, and can add to it before passing it on. Now a second Debug node, one step further along after Open Browser. Run it once more. The browser opens again, over on the right. And down in the console, two debug outputs this time, one from each probe. The second one carries a browser ID that the first one does not. Open Browser added it to the message. That ID is a handle to the window sitting next to it. Go to Google takes it as its input, so it knows which browser session to drive. And the flow has still not stopped. A robot keeps running a flow until a stop node executes or an unhandled exception ends it. So we add a stop node to execute after Go to Google has finished navigating, with a 5-second delay in front of it, to leave time to look at the browser window. And run it one last time. The browser opens and goes to the page. 5 seconds pass, and the stop node ends the flow. And the browser goes with it. A robot closes the browsers it opened when the flow ends. The robot is idle again, free to pick up the next flow you give it. Inject starts the flow, Debug shows you the message, and Stop ends it. Thank you for watching.